This is Analog and Digital Communication Systems. The course code is EC501. It has 3 lectures per week and total 36 contact hour in the semester. It has 3 number of credit points. Myself, Dr. Indranath Sarkar, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JS College of Engineering, Kollani. It has 5 course outcome. At the end of the course, we expect the students will able to explain the importance of amplitude and digital modulation, demodulation schemes, analyze analog communication systems for their signal to noise ratio, efficiency and bandwidth, compare the advantage of various pulse modulation technique and analyze their system performance, demonstrate signal representation, analyze various digital communication techniques, can compute the bit error performance and compare their advantages and limitations. So these are the points we expect that students will able to demonstrate or explain or analyze or compute or compare. So all these things will make the students mastermind on this subject. There are 5 modules for this subject, and for each of the subject there are some contact hours limited to complete. There are 6 contact hours assigned to module 1 for introductory descriptions. For the module 2, random process has 6 contact hours. 3 contact hours assigned to module 3 on pulse modulation, 8 contact hours assigned to signal vector representation under module 4. In module 5, digital modulation technique has 13 contact hours. So total 13 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6. So total 36 contact hours exist for the completion of analog digital communication systems. For like every subject has prerequisite, here is also the knowledge of signal vector representation, characteristics of additive wide Gaussian noise, geometric representation of signals, synthesizer, analyzer, signal vector, signal space, Euclidean space are required. Signals and systems is a subject which is covered in earlier semester, has many things to recall for the analog and digital communication system. So signal and system is an important subject before understanding analog and digital communication. Still there are mathematics, that is engineering mathematics covered up to 3rd semester, has plenty of mathematical equations such as the Fourier transformation, Laplace transformation. So those things are required to understand, as well as trigonometric applications are required for analog and digital communication. Statistical part will be revised here. So that is why if the basic statistical part required, it is needed to be recapitulated. Now these are the course outcome versus program outcome mapping. Now as the analog and digital communication has plenty of application in the domain of information technology, that is why we are finding there are almost all the program outcome has minimum contribution to one or more course outcome. The course outcome weightage 3 is given for high weightage, 2 weightage is given for moderate weightage, and 1 value is written, that is the numerical value 1 is given for least weightage to some program outcome. And if there is no such linkage, then it is kept blank. Now as the basic mathematics related, that is why it has high weightage to program outcome 1 and program outcome 2. Also it is dealing with several project oriented work, because in communication system various basic modulator, demodulator, as well as quantizer, equalizer, many circuits, basic circuits are utilized for the communication system. That is why it is also related to implementation of project. There are various projects which could be implemented using a communication circuitry. Also there are various mathematical equations required to reduce the noise addition to the transmitted signal. So transmitted signal are prone to noise. That is why noise elimination is one of the most important factor for analog and digital communication. Here the differences of analog and digital communication will be taught, and thereby students will understand how digital communication dominates over analog communication, but cannot avoid analog communication for the transmission of digital signals through wireless medium. So that is why various project related as well as seminar conferences, English languages, all are related and has weightage, as well as it has lifelong learning because students may target for circuit implementation, that is their dream project may be implemented later. So that is why lifelong learning is also having higher weightage for each of the outcome. The course objective for analog and digital communication is to familiarize students with the fundamentals of analog and digital communication system, because analog communication is the primary communication system, thereafter digital communication has come. So comparison as well as their foundation knowledge required to be transmitted to the student, to provide students with tools and for communication signal analysis. So there are various mathematical tools, simulators that will be provided to students to better understand about the application of such tools, to familiarize students with various techniques for amplitude modulation and demodulation of analog signals, to develop the students' ability to determine the effects of receiver frequency and phase errors in synchronous modulation systems. So phase error or magnitude error are critical cases which will be studied under these objectives. To familiarize students with techniques for generating and demodulating narrowband and wideband frequency and phase modulated signals, to familiarize students with the basic techniques for generating and demodulating pulse code modulated signals, to familiarize students with issues pertaining to the transmission of digital signals over bandwidth limited communication channels. So with this we will start the analog and digital communication system. Now this is analog and digital communication. We are studying digital modulation techniques under module 5. Some problems will be solved in today's class. Now this problem states a sinusoid's message signal MT is transmitted by binary pulse code modulation without compression. If the signal to quantization noise ratio is required to be at least 48 dB, what will be the minimum number of bits per sample? There are 4 options: 8, 10, 12 or 14. So in this problem, first of all we can find out what is the average power of the message, that is mean square value of the message is written, and another equation is N0, that means the noise power, that is the 3 times square of the message divided by 3 times square of the quantization level. So in this way we can further extend our discussion, that is signal to noise ratio. If we take, then it will be resembling into the simplified equation, which is 3 times of square of the quantization level and the square of the message divided by square of the peak value of the message. Therefore, since the signal is sinusoid, therefore square of the message divided by square of the peak value of the message is given by 1 by half, 1 by 2. So this gives 3L square by 2 is equal to 48 dB. So therefore quantization level L is 205.019. Now since L is a number, therefore we can round up. So since L is a power of 2, we are getting 205.9 can be approximated as 256. Therefore 256 equal to 2 to the power 8. So 8 number of bit per sample is required. We cannot round down, we have to take round up value because round down will suppress the information. Now in the second problem, it is telling that a speech signal has a total duration of 20 seconds. It is sampled at the rate of 8 kHz and then passcode modulation encoded. The signal to quantization noise ratio is required to be 40 decibel. What will be the minimum storage capacity needed to accommodate this signal? It may be 1.12 kilobyte, 140 kilobyte, 160 kilobyte, or none of the above. So signal to noise ratio can be calculated using the equation 1.76 plus 6.02 multiplied by number of bit required to encode one sample. So this means 40 plus this will be equal to 40 dB. So therefore we can calculate n is equal to 6.35. So as n cannot be a fraction, we have to take the round up whole number not to suppress any information. So n equal to 7. Therefore capacity is 20 multiplied by 8 kilo multiplied by 7. So this is equal to 1.12 megabit per second, and that is equal to 140 kilobytes. The third question states the input to a linear delta modulator having step size delta equal to 0.628 is a sine wave with frequency, message frequency FM, and peak amplitude EM. If the sampling frequency Fs is 40 kHz, the combination of the sync wave frequency and the peak amplitude where slope overload will take Pierce is EM and FM respectively, whether 0.3 volt and 8 kHz or 1.5 volt or 4 kHz, 1.5 volt or 2 kHz, 3 volt and 1 kHz. So here we can go with option B because for the slope overload to take place, we can consider the magnitude is greater than or equal to delta Fs divided by 2 pi Fm, where EM stands for the magnitude, which is 1.5, and this is we can calculate it is 1.5, and the message frequency is 4 kHz. Now the fourth question states a sinusoidal signal with peak to peak amplitude of 1.536 volt is quantized into 128 levels using a mid-rise uniform quantizer. The quantization noise power is which option we have to calculate. So here we can calculate the step size delta, which is equal to 2 times of message peak value divided by number of quantization level, and that gives us the numerical value 0.012 volt. So quantization noise power can be calculated as the del square by 12, which is equal to 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 volt square. Thank you.